Hey, this video is going to be how I detail a vehicle. I used to do car shows many years ago. So we're going to use my 1994 Chevy Caprice wagon here with their LT1. This is a dark cherry metallic paint. You can't really see it very well because the paint's kind of flat. So what I'm going to do is it's a very hot day, very sunny right now, so what I'm going to do is clean out the interior, give it that new car look and smell, take out the trash, all that good stuff, make it really nice inside. Okay, so I've emptied the car of trash. Next, in the order of way I do things, I'm going to wash the interior glass, and I'm just going to use a non-ammoniated glass cleaner for that and some paper towels. And then I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the hard plastic components, the dash and such, with a very dilute solution of simple green, and I'll just use a traditional garbage rag for that. That'll get all the dust off the surfaces. Then I'll coat the hard plastic surfaces like the armrests and the dash with some Armor All, but you can use pretty much any interior protectant of your choice. And then finally, after all that, I'll come in and I'll vacuum the interior. Now I've already pulled the mats out. When you clean the car, you need to take everything out. Coins, the little trays if you can get them out between the seats right there, take everything out. Vacuum and do all your cleaning, and then select what you want to put back in here. Okay, so we've got the car all washed. It's been dried. In fact, it's been in the garage overnight now. It's now in the cool of the garage, so the paint's nice and cool. The first product we're going to use to kind of help this paint out a little bit, it's a product called Kleanz-EZ. It's from Napa. I can bring it right up to the camera over here. And this is essentially a super heavy duty degreaser. And it's used when you're going to paint a car, essentially, to get all that crap off the paint. All the bird poo and pitch and sap that might fall on the car. And it's pretty simple application. You just wet a rag, and I'm going to put a glove on because you really don't want this stuff, on your hands. You essentially wipe it on and then follow it up with the clean rag behind it there, and you're just going to go over the entire car, getting rid of any residue wax, anything that might be on the car before we proceed to our next step. Application of this stuff is really easy. Here I've got my rag here and I've got my glove on as well, and pretty much just get it a little bit wet and then just start circling it on. Okay, I've just opened up the garage door to provide some light on our work surface here. The car has been dewaxed, so next we're going to put Finess-it 2. It's a finishing material. Let me make sure that's on camera. It's a non-abrasive polish. In other words, it doesn't actually contain any bits of chalk or anything like that that's going to dig into our paint, but it's really good stuff. It'll break this right out to the shine here. So what I'm going to do is, this is all shaken up, so I'm going to put a little bit on the car here. You're only going to do a little bit at a time. I'm going to take my polisher with my pad on it right here. I'm going to spread this around a little bit, and then we're going to buff this till it disappears. So we just take it just like so. I've got my safety glasses on. You probably can't see that. And then we're just going to go. And it is going to splatter, and it's going to make a mess. But trust me, it'll be worth it. Okay, so we've got the car polished, so we've got it nice and shiny now. It's very reflective, and the colors kind of stood out a little bit now. Now we're going to protect that. What we're going to do is I'm going to use a Mother's. I use the Pure Carnauba wax, and I do that for two reasons. Number one, it looks great. Number two, it goes on really nice as well. And the hint with this stuff is put it on very lightly. I mean, you just want to very lightly coat the car. And why you want to do that is because if you put it on lightly, it comes off much faster. And so you can actually do two coats in the time it would take you if you put on a really heavy coat and it was really thick and you really couldn't, it really takes a long time to get it off. If you put two really small light coats on it, it goes on much faster, comes off much faster as well. Okay, now that we've got the paint all nice and shiny and the car looks great, there's another thing you need to pay attention to, and that's the wheels and the tires here. In fact, you can have a really crappy looking car, but if you have some really pretty tires and wheels on it, it really just draws the eye to them. Now here I've got some BF Goodrich Radial TAs. They're a raised white letter tire and a nice black wall here. We'd like to protect that as long as we can. And then we have just a run-of-the-mill steel wheel. So to protect the metal, at least the metal and then the chrome trim ring, I'm going to use some of the car wax here. And I've waxed the car several times using this rag, and so you're going to pick up some debris and stuff on here anyway. So I'll probably throw this rag out afterwards. But just put a nice light coating of wax on the ring, inside the painted surface here, and that's going to help make that black stand out a little bit. So I've got the wheels waxed now, and we're going to let that wax dry. While we're here, we're going to take care of the rubber on the tire here. Now I use Armor All, but what it does is essentially provides a nice gloss for the tire. It wears off pretty quick, so it only lasts for about a week or so. And there are probably a lot better products out there, but I generally put it on with a sponge, and I usually get the inside real wet. And the first thing I do is this inner side here, because you've got a lot of writing in here with small letters. You want to make sure you can get the liquid in there in between the letters and the cracks and stuff. Then hit the letters, and then finally just go around the outside edge. And when you're all said and done, take a look at it. And if it looks like it's too wet, you can always come back with like a paper towel and just kind of even it out. If you've got like a really wet spot here and it looks a little dry here, you can always take a paper towel and just kind of wipe the whole thing down when you're done. The goal, of course, is to make it look nice and shiny and black. Will it protect the rubber? Well, you know, tires live fine without being covered with Armor All, so you're not really protecting much. Where versus a car dash, they're known to crack in the sun and the like. So with tires, I don't really worry about it. It's more of an appearance issue. So really any type of tire shine or tire black could really help make things stand out. Okay, the tires are done, so we're done with the car, right? Well, not quite. Here's where the detail work and detailing comes into play. Car outside looks great, car inside looks great. Open a door, holy crap. The door sills and jambs are quite dirty, just from road dirt, process of polishing the car. So what you want to do is essentially come in with like a very light solution of simple green, and I use a sponge, wet it down, and wipe down the entire inside of the car. I mean, not the interior, not the exterior. This is kind of the middle land here. Make it, you don't have to polish it or wax it or anything like this. It doesn't really get much wear and tear. And you want to do the inside of the car, and you also want to get the door. You want to get, you know, everywhere where you can't get to it when you normally wash. But just like I said, just, you know, wet it down. Come in here, just knock this dirt off, and that way when someone opens your door, they're not kind of blown away by how dirty it is. It, you know, kind of continues the appearance of a nice, clean, well-polished car. Now that we have all our door jambs clean, we still have one other thing to do. If you use the sponge to clean up the wheels with Armor All, I should say that now that we've got the door jambs all clean, we still have another step. If you use the sponge to wipe the tires down with Armor All, it makes a great sponge to actually wipe down all your weather seals that are along the door that are right here. You want to, this is more for protectance sake than anything. We want to keep them nice and moist so that they won't dry out and crack and, you know, degrade over time. So you do want to be able to coat the entire weather surface and any other little weather rails that you might have with your sponge here, just keeping it, it's not going to take a lot, just a little, but it's also going to make them look shiny, black, and new, and that'll help accent the cleanliness of the door. Almost there. We've still got another trick to do, and that involves cracks. What I mean by that is anywhere where a panel meets another panel, that's a place for dust to actually hide in. Now the hood's real easy. You can just come in and wipe this off with a nice soft rag. And if you've done prior wax jobs and sometimes it's a little tough, you can take a small toothbrush. The last thing I do here is actually apply Rain-X to all the exterior windows of my car. And the reason for that is when it starts raining, it's just an awesome product. It just lets water bead right off of it. In the wintertime, lets slush come right off of it. It's really nice to have. It lasts for about 6 months if you put it on right. And putting it on is very easy. I mean, you just, I can do this in 5 minutes. You just quickly circle the window here and just make sure that you get complete coverage. Now it prefers clean glass over dirty, so clean your glass ahead of time. Our car happens to be washed. And you just quickly kind of go over and coat the glass with this product. Now it says wait for it to dry. Well, to be honest with you, this stuff dries in about 1 minute or less. So if you go around and do the entire car, it'll be done by where you started from. And then to take it off is very easy, and I'm kind of just going to go through it real quick. Because you take a dry rag, not the wet one here, and you pretty much just polish it off. So you just take and you keep wiping it off round and round, flipping your rag over every now and then. And you can kind of see if you glance off the reflection of the glass whether it's there or not. It will end up being totally clear. And you won't know anything until it starts raining, and then the water is just, it just runs right off it. And with your car beading water because of all the wax and your glass beading water because of all the wax, it's really easy to clean up, especially when you go to wash it again. So it's pretty much the last thing I do because it's pretty clean. You're not going to hurt anything. It's just a clear liquid and it wipes off clean. There's no residue. And with that, you'll be actually done detailing your car. Now you might want to do other things like lubricate door hinges and you know, under the hood and stuff like that. But for purposes of a car show or something along those lines, we're pretty much there.